Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stamp with Anna, and today I'm going to show you another project that I made using the Dressed to Impress stamp set and the all dressed up coordinating bundles, coordinating dies, excuse me. And here is this adorable little tote bag, and as you can see on the inside I've got some tissue paper and a coordinating card to go with my gift. And this is just so cute, especially with Mother's Day coming up. You can certainly put a gift certificate for a spa in there, or to her favorite store. You can just do it for so many things, and I just think it's adorable. What I'm thinking I'm going to do for my daughter's bridal shower is I'm going to make up a bunch of these, and I'm going to have some specialty cookies made in the shape of a wedding dress, and put them in white clear cellophane bags and tuck them in there, and that'll be part of the guests' party favors. So that's the idea swirling in my head. I have a few months to work on that, so that's all I think I'm going to use mine. So this is just a precious little bag. I love this. I know the other day I showed you this backpack. This is the front of the backpack, and this is the back of it. And I think that this tufted embossing would look equally as nice if I had embossed this whole thing before I covered it with this paper. I may do that, I may not, depends on, how much time I have before the bridal shower. But I think that the tufting just makes the bag look so nice. And if you were to do this for a baby gift, a baby shower gift, you tuft this and it would look like a one of those nouveau fancy diaper bags. So I think that'd be really cute if you had some nice print for a baby, like little polka dots or something like that. That'd be adorable to put a gift card for a baby shower gift. Oh, that's a great idea. I like that. I think that's a super duper idea. Okay, so let me put this aside and show you the product. It comes from the spring catalog, what used to be referred to as the occasions catalog, which is live from January through the end of June. And in the catalog, this is the suite here. They do have an index at the front of the catalog with all of the suites. And here's the suite here, and they give you one sample over here. And you'll see that these straps here, these dies were made from the same die that I used to make the straps for my bag. So it is pretty versatile. And then let me just get to the page itself that has the bundle. Here it is. It's called the Best Dress Bundle. And on this page here, there are all these other samples. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 more samples of how you can use this. And again, that one strap there was put on this card to make it look like it's a shelf for all these shoes. And these shoes, I'll get there. Then this page here shows you all the coordinating colors, and you do have some nice vibrant colors like Lovely Lipstick and Blackberry Bliss and Old Olive. And then you do have the more muted colors like Petal Pink, Mint Macaron, Purple Posy. And the suite comes with all these great papers and some sheer linen, which is in Mint Macaron, and these best dressed tassels. And it also has the note cards. There are 3x3 note cards with these scalloped envelopes. The envelopes are already pre-printed. On my project today, I am going to use a 3x3 note card, but I didn't use these. I made my own, and I will show you how I did that. So without further ado, let's get started on how we need to make this beautiful bag. I am going to use a different set of colors, though. I did this one in Purple Posy, and I'm going to do this one in Petal Pink. So I have one sheet of Petal Pink cardstock, 8.5 by 11, and I have cut this in half, 2 equal halves, 5.5 by 8.5. I did need to make it small because I have to run it through my Big Shot. And then I'm going to use this color here for my accent piece, and I'm going to bring out some of the the lovely lipstick and these flowers. And you can see, if you were going to do this as a makeup bag, you could use the other side and certainly use this paper that has all the makeup brushes if you were going to put like a gift certificate to a Sephora or another cosmetic company. That's just a great way to use these papers. The papers are just absolutely fabulous. So here is the stamp set, and it has, I think I bought this stamp set just for this this sentiment here, life is short, buy the shoes. I love shoes. But it has some really great images, and you have these abstract kind of watercolor splashes, and these are great if you stamp these and then stamp your image right over it, like this perfume bottle. It colors it in for you. The same with the lipstick and the same with these flowers. And you do have a Happy Mother's Day, and be as bold as your lipstick, and kindness is always in style, and hello fabulous. And I just love those. I think they're great sentiments. And it does come with this, well, it does have available this all dressed up coordinating die set. And I have put they come on 2 sheets, but I've put mine all on a magnetic sheet for storage. And you can see you have this die here that we're going to use today, and that's going to make our bags. This die here is the one that we're going to use for straps, but it was used differently in the catalog that I showed you. And we're going to use this one here. This could be great for a mat to a sentiment. We're going to use it to make this pocketbook. And I did see someone online who cut a couple of these out and made some backings and made it as a miniature purse. It was just adorable. Then it also has the perfume bottle, 2 of the flowers, and these fasteners which make these buckles, 2 different size buttons, 2 of each, so we're only going to use the large buttons. So I'm going to take those off. And then you have the lipstick, you have the shoe, and this one here, again, very versatile. You can use this to mat a sentiment, or in the case of my backpack, I used it for my strap. So it's really a versatile set. I just love it, and I hope this one carries over because I can see myself using this a lot. So anyway, now I'm going to bring up my Big Shot machine, and I know I don't usually do my die cutting on camera with you guys, but I do want to show you how to cut this, because you do need to be careful when you're cutting so that you can get all of your pieces, more so on the printed paper than on the cardstock. So here I have my magnetic platform, 1 plate, and my piece of petal pink. And I need to have 2 of the bags, so I'm going to put that there. And I need to have 2 of the straps, so I'm going to put that there. And I do need 1 for my front pocket, so I'm going to put that there. And now I'm going to run it through. And you can see all of the pieces, I should show you that before I put them all away. All of the pieces have this beautiful stitching, which I absolutely love. Now I'm going to bring in my second cardstock. And I need a second one of these. Oops, I'll do it this way. And a second strap. Okay, and I'm going to run these through. Make sure I get everything in there. All of these pieces. And while I have my die cutting machine out, I am going to do all of my die cutting. So I have a little scrap of lovely lipstick, because I'm going to bring out the lovely lipstick in that designer series paper, and I need 4 buttons. So because the die set comes with 2 button dies, well, 4 actually, 2 large and 2 small, I only have to run this through twice to get all 4 of my buttons. This magnetic. Okay. So there's 2, and then with my pierce tool, this one popped out already. Put that aside so I don't lose it. And I pop this one out. That adorable little button. And I'm going to make 2 more. All right. And now I'm going to pop these out and put them aside. And I really don't have to pop them out. They pop right out by themselves. That is such a great die. All right, so now we have to do the die cutting for our front base here. And all we need is this part here. And we need 2 of them. One for the back and one for the front, because I wanted my bag to be as stylish as possible. So, when you're picking your paper for this, you do want to make sure that it's not a directional paper, which means it doesn't have a clear horizontal or vertical pattern. So what we're going to do is we want to just cut this piece out here. So we have to be careful with our first cut. We have to strategically place this on our paper. I'm going to bring this right up to the edge here. Okay? Because I need this piece here, and I also need other parts, but you'll see we're going to get so much out of this one piece of designer series paper. So now I'm going to run that through. Okay, and here is this piece here. So all I need is that. We're going to do some cutting on it in a minute. So now what I need is this piece right here. Now, of course, you can't run this through like that, because this bottom piece is going to get cut off. So before you run it through, you're going to take your snips and you're just going to trim that off. Don't throw any of these away until you see what you need for your to decorate your bag. Now again, we don't need this piece here. So all we have to do is make sure that this is going to fit in there. And if you did the first cut as close to the corner as you possibly could, this one is going to work out just fine. Okay, so I'm going to line that up there. Push this over so I don't dent. I hope that's in view. See that? So it's right up to the edge there. Now I'm going to put in my plate, and I'm going to run that through. And there is that piece there, and you can see that I have exactly what I need with my my stitching. The stitching is kind of hard to see on the pattern, but it does show up. Then on either one of these smaller pieces, you could have done it as you went through, but I wanted to make sure that you got your 2 bigger pieces before you started cutting up. So now I'm going to do this right here. Come on, Anna. All right. And I'm going to run that through. And I'm going to put that aside with all of my other die pieces. Okay, so our die cutting is all done. And now we're going to put the bag together. So what I used for my adhesive is tear tape, simply because you do need something that is strong. You could use fast fuse if you still have any. liquid glue, okay, but I think this is your best bet. So here we have our two front pieces. Our goal is to attach this one to this one. And so what we're going to do is put a piece of tear tape right down this side here. Okay? And that's what I love about tear tape. You just tear. You don't have to use your scissors to cut anything. So with my pickup tool, I'm going to just remove that backing, and I'm going to line these two up. The top one. And if I line the top one up right, I'm going to bring it right up to that score line. If I line the top one up right, my two bottom score lines are going to line up as well. Okay, so now I'm going to press. Now we need to put some tear tape on this strap here. And this outside piece right there. And this tear tape fits beautifully in that little spot. And now we're going to put a piece on either one, on both of these small ones here. And now on these two bottom pieces, you only need to put tear tape on one of them. I'm going to choose this one. And I'm going to put it right at the bottom here. And then I don't want it right up at the top, because you'll see when you put the bag together, there is a little lip right there. Okay? So I'm going to do that. Now I'm all set. Now I can start putting it together. Before I do that, though, I do want to reinforce my folds. And like I said, the die does all of your scoring, so it's really pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to do that one. And then this one. Now this middle one is where the two pieces were seamed together. And then I'm going to do this one here. Now, the inside pockets here, they are also have a seam on them. When I did, excuse me, when I did the backpack, I didn't bother to seam them with my bowl folder. I just pushed it in. But because we're coming out the other direction, you may want to just give that a quick score, a quick pleat with your bone folder. Okay, so now we're all set to assemble. The first thing we're going to do is take this piece of backing off. And let me just pull this up so I don't have any sticking out. I must say, if you do want to put your stamp on this, if you want to put your created by, now would probably be the best time to do it, and put it on this strap right here. So it'll show up on the bottom. But if you're not going to stamp it with your name on it, you don't have to do that. Okay, so I took the tape off of that. And now what I want to do is line this up with this little one. And again, I'm going to line the top up. And if I line the top up correctly, my bottom is going to line up. Okay, and see, it does. It's right there. Oh, I've got to reinforce these here. Okay, let's do that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is remove our tear tape on these two flaps here. And we're going to attach that to this bottom piece here that has two of its own straps on it, two of its own pieces of tear tape. You're going to square that up. Okay. And take your bone folder and just push that in there so that it gets nice and attached. And now you're going to take off these here. Okay, and you're going to bring this one over. Okay, and now remember I told you to not to put this to put one piece of tear tape right up to the bottom and not right up to this crease. That's because when you flip this over, you don't want any adhesive sticking out. So because you do have that little flap there. Okay, so now it's all reinforced, and there's the beginnings of our bag. Okay, now we're going to put this aside. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, we'll put that aside. The next thing we're going to do is make these two panels here. Now you can see on my sample here, I have this tiny edge here because I did want to show some of the base color. Okay, so in order to get that effect, we have to take our pieces here, and with our snips, we're going to cut just outside that score line, that little stitching line. Now when you do the one that has the bottom piece, because remember when we cut it, we wanted to save the bottom piece, you need to keep this because you're going to need that for your card. So I'm just going to take my snips and I'm going to cut that piece aside so that I don't damage it. I'm going to put it aside, and now I'm going to do my trimming. So again, I do want the stitching to show up, so with my snips I want to cut as close to that stitching as possible without cutting into the stitching, because you do want the stitching to show up on your project. Now this paper, this design here, is kind of hard to see that, so you can certainly turn your paper over and cut from the back if you want, if that makes it any easier for you. And in this case, not so much. So it is a bit tedious, and I'm just going to do one on camera, and then I'll do the others off camera, because I do want to show you, before you attach any of this, you want to give it a dry fit to make sure that you've cut enough in order to get that little bit of a border. Okay, so now here we have that. And see, I can see here that when I place this down here, I do have my border. It fits nicely. The corners are all right. I'm going to just straighten this one up just a bit. Now, actually, when we made this in class the other day, I had the girls put this piece, attach this piece onto their base before we put the bag together, which is probably the wisest way to go. I should have done that this time, but I guess I wasn't thinking ahead. So here I have that there. Now this fits perfectly. I'm going to use liquid glue, and the reason I'm going to use liquid glue is because when I place this down, I'm going to have a little bit of time to straighten it out to make sure that I get, I see my stitch lines. If you use a tear tape or a snail or something like that, once it's down, it's down. So I'm going to put this in here, put this on here, and I'm going to make sure that I move it around until I get exactly where I want it. Okay, and so there you can see I have a pink border there, a pink border here, a little pink border there, and a pink border on the bottom. So I'm going to go cut my other one, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my second one all cut, and again I'm going to put my liquid glue along the back and then place it on my project, making sure that I have a little pink border all around. Now if that pink border isn't important to you, you certainly don't have to go through the painstaking steps of making sure that it all fits. If you want to just make it right up to the edge, just cut along your score line and it'll fit perfectly. Okay, so now we have the bag. Now we're going to put the little front pocket on. And again, these two are perfectly matched. So for this one, I want the stitching on my back piece. So with my snips, again, I'm going to cut right, this time I'm going inside the stitching, okay? And if you can't cut straight, you can certainly do this on your paper trimmer. Okay, and then this little piece here has the little loop, the little tab here. If you can't cut that so that it's straight, or so that it lines up nicely, there's ways to disguise that. And when we put it together, I'll show you. Okay, so now I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on the back of that, and I'm going to place it right here. You could leave the top part open if you wanted to slip something in it, but I'm not putting anything in there, so I'm not going to keep it open. And now I'm going to fit this right in there, and I want to see, this is the beauty of the liquid glue. I can move this around, and I want to move it around so that I can see the stitching on my back piece. Now I'm going to put this aside, and I'm going to work on my straps. Straps are super simple. So you have these two straps here, and they are stiff paper. If you were to just attach them like this, this peak here would bend, and it wouldn't give the illusion of a fabric handle. So with your bone folder, just run it over that, break down those fibers. Okay. And now we're going to attach. You can use tear tape for this, or you can use liquid glue. Again, I'm using liquid glue because I want to have the freedom of moving it around if I don't like where it goes down the first time. So there's the first one, and I'm going to bring this one over. I'm going to line it up so that it's equal in distance to the other one. Okay. And that it's straight. Alright. I'm going to hold that down for just a minute. So I'm going to double check that I have that nice and straight. Yep. And now I'm going to do the back one. Again, I'm going to put a little bit of liquid glue on either end. And you want these to be the same as the front ones, so that when you put the bag together, these two here are the same distance. Otherwise your straps would be crooked. Alright, so there's our straps. Now we're going to attach these cute little buttons. And for the buttons, I'm going to use, to attach the buttons, I'm going to use glue dots. And that's because there are 4 little holes in each one of these buttons, and I don't want my liquid glue to ooze out of it. So I'm going to place my buttons right there. And I used the lovely lipstick buttons because I wanted to I wanted a nice contrast with the petal pink, and I wanted to pick up the lovely lipstick in the designer series paper. You could obviously make the colors of the buttons the same as the bag, but I liked the contrast. I'll flip it over. And then here's my last one. I'm going to put that there. Now the last thing I want to do is put the ribbon on my little pocketbook, on my little pocket, front pocket. Now, I was saying, if you didn't get this to cut attractively, you could simply snip this. Instead of making it with this lump here, you could just cut this across and put your bow right up there, and it wouldn't show that it was crooked. But mine came out decently. So what I'm going to do is put mine a little lower. So I'm going to put a glue dot behind my bow. And I'm going to attach that right there. And now with my fabric shears, I'm going to come in and just trim that out. There we go. And I'll fuss with that to make sure that it sits nice and evenly and my bow isn't wonky. Okay, so that's the bag. Now we're going to make the card. And again, like I said, the suite does come with pre-made cards, but I chose to go a different route with mine. I took a piece of coordinating paper, so in this case, the petal pink, and in this case here, the purple posy, and I made a coordinating card. So this piece of cardstock is 3 by 6 scored at 3. Now the first thing I want to do before I put my make my borders over here is I want to stamp, because if I stamp that and it's wonky, I can always move my paper up. Okay, so I'm going to use the this one is going to say happy birthday. This one here says many thanks, but this one's going to be a birthday one. And I'm using the sentiment that comes from the Itty Bitty Greetings. And where is it? It's happy birthday. And they also have a happy Mother's Day that will look nice there. The stamp set, Dress to Impress, has its own happy Mother's Day, so you could certainly use that one. But I'm going to use the happy birthday. And I'm going to pick up the green that is in the designer series paper, which is Old Olive, and I'm going to stamp this, and it's probably about a third of the way down, but depending on where it is going to dictate where I put my paper. Okay, so there's my happy birthday. Now we need some strips of paper, and the first strip we need is, oh, I had it written down here. Hold on one second. Oh, if you could only see my desk. Here it is. We need a piece of Whisper White, then a piece of coordinating paper there, and then your strip of designer series paper. So here is this one is cut at 3 by 1. Okay, I'm going to put that there. Attach this, and since I have my liquid glue out, I'm going to use that. You can certainly use snail for this part. Okay, so I'm going to attach that right underneath my happy birthday. Now, from your scraps of your background paper, you have all this left over, you're going to cut, let me just bring this up, you're going to cut a little strip that is 3 inches by 7/8 of an inch. So I'm going to do, here's my piece right here. I'm going to find a piece that it is, that's triangular, and I'm going to turn it so that my 90-degree angle is to my left, because I find cutting a small sliver is a little more difficult than cutting cutting the 7/8 is a little more difficult than cutting the 3. So what I'm going to do is line that up at my 7/8, and I'm going to cut, and then I'm going to bring it over and make my 3. So you really are getting the very most out of your paper that you used to make your bag. And that's going to fit right there. So again, and I think I just confused myself with the way I explained that. I'm going to fit this right here, okay? Line that up and fit that right there. Now, remember that little piece of paper that we had when we cut out these pieces here? Now we're going to take that and we're going to cut that at 6/8 by 3. 6/8 by 3, and I want it's going to be difficult because it's a little tiny piece of paper, so it's going to move. So I'm going to show you a trick. Take some old washi tape, line this up at 6/8, okay, and whatever trimmer you use is up to you. This one is my old Stampin' Up! Trimmer, and I'm going to put that down on the bottom. And I lined it up here, and because I have this trimmer still has these grid lines on it, I'm going to be able to make sure that it is straight all the way down. So now with my cutter, my cutting blade, I'm just going to come right up, and you see I only had to cut a tiny bit off. So I'm going to peel this off, and then because this is washi tape, which is low tack, this is going to come right off and not ruin my paper. And then this is going to go right here, and as you can see, it's a little longer here because remember that piece was 3 1/4 inches. So I'm going to put a little piece right here because I'm going to trim that one. I'm going to put this, line this up right here, straighten that out, and with my snips I'm going to turn my little note card over and cut any overhang on that side, and I have a little sliver of overhang on this side. I'm going to snip that off as well. Okay, and there is our coordinating gift card. Isn't that adorable? Now, Stampin' Up! Does sell in their annual catalog 3x3 cards, envelopes, and this fits perfectly in there. So no naked envelopes, right? So I'm going to bring in my old olive again, and from this Dress to Impress stamp set, I'm going to use this little greenery right there, and I'm going to stamp in the corner of my envelope. I'm going to do one there and one there. So now I have a pretty outside envelope, and I want to put some white on the inside of my card there. So that was 3x3. I'm going to cut this at 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and then I'm going to just attach that on the inside so that I can write a note. It's a tiny little border there. Let's see if I can straighten that little corner out where I made my little okay, and there we have it. And now, like I said, I'm going to put a cookie in mine in a cellophane bag, but if you have a little piece of tissue, just drop it in there, and then you have it. Isn't that the cutest little bag? And like I said, it's a great way to present a card rather than just giving someone a card in an envelope. You have a really nice card in a bag, or it's a great way to put a treat. Like I said, I'm going to do cookies for my daughter's bridal shower, and it's a great way to deliver a gift card. You can just do so much stuff. If you changed up your paper, you could put dog biscuits in there. I have a grandpuppy, of course. I'm always thinking dog biscuits. So I'm going to put our card in the envelope and drop that right in there. And there we go. Purple Posy and Petal Pink. And again, these papers are from the Dress to Impress paper. and it's just so gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all about the projects or any of the products I use, please contact me at my blog, www.stampwithanna.blogspot.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day.